Howdy doody everybody, my name is Rocky and today I'm coming at you with another White Star review. Today we're going to be reviewing our 10v10 match that we just had against MyCorp. That's the name of the corporation, MyCorp. Not MyCorp, MyCorp is VoidCorp. So VoidCorp versus MyCorp, 10v10. So we're going to start off by just reviewing our battlefield here and then sort of criticize both sides and talk about things that I think could have been done better, things that were done great, etc., etc. At the end of the day, we got our asses handed to us. We got outplayed, out-teched, out-relicked, outed everything. So talking about the battlefield as we're jumping in here, it was pretty symmetrical. We've got 2 level 5 planets and a level 10 planet on the right side of the map, and on the left side of the map, same thing, 2 level 5 planets and a level 10 planet. And what was nice about this generation is that our large hydro fields were right next to the gate. So the plan, I tried to go back and take a look at the strategy. The mistake I made with this White Star review is that I did this a little too late. And so I couldn't go back and take a look at what the strategy was in terms of where we were going. But you're going to notice here that they didn't actually portal in until the very last minute, almost the very last minute. And I found that very interesting. I think that says a lot about a corp when they can all coordinate their jump in at the same time. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. If anyone happens to come across this that's in my corp, maybe you can tell me. You guys doing sort of a, I guess, don't portal in until we talk about it type deal. That is probably the most ideal way to jump into a White Star. You need to talk about what you're doing first. So anyways, I'm going to just fast forward this. You guys can see this unfold. When the White Stars took off, there was a bit of a problem with rocket spam, and the way the devs dealt with that was that they put a cooldown on how much time it takes to jump out and in of a White Star. But that does not seem to have stopped MyCorp from finding a way to stick a rocket up someone's ass, so to say. So they did a really good job defending their squishies, also keeping the pressure on with those rockets. We're coming up to the end of the match here. And I'm going to elaborate a little more on that just in a little bit here. And you guys find out why that's a real problem. Because you're probably saying, well, you know, Rocky, you just put a battleship in front of it. That takes care of it. No, it doesn't. I will explain in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to start off by criticizing my side of the map here. We had some coordination issues at the gate, I think. Very minor, but we definitely had a little bit of coordination problems at the gate. And I think one of our big mistakes might have been the fact that we went for our 5 first. So what we've learned since, well, again, I talked about this in the last video I did. Strategies are ever changing. It isn't static in terms of what you're going to do. It's going to depend on the generation of the map. It's going to depend on where the enemy is going. But anyways, the strategy I think we learned on this one is that you shouldn't go for your level 5 right away. If you've got a level 5 that's near your gate, you're going to want to hit that last. The reason being that it's so close, you could easily get a couple relics out of it before you gotta hop in your gate, especially if you don't have assassins taking care of the squishies on your back line. So what we did here is we moved south of our gate and we decided to take the big hydro field right away, and we sent all our battleships into it. The plan of attack here, what I thought, again, couldn't look back in the Discord to find out if this was the case. I thought we were going to go for the level 10 first. Doesn't seem that way. So we put all of our money on the level 5, which may have been our fault right out the gate, but that's the route we chose. And I think our mining game might have been a bit off. So, you know what? I totally messed this up. I was gonna review what we jumped in with. I didn't do that. So let's quickly talk about that. So we have 3 assassins, what we call assassins, going to the back line, take care of squishies, and then we brought in sorry, I'm looking at something. We brought in 6 other battleships. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. and our 10th is running back to the gate. So he was going back to guard our gate, and what we came in with miner wise was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 miners and 4 trance. I talked about that last time. That was our ratio in the last battle, 6 to 4. So you'll notice our miner is sitting at the gate, not moving. Anyways, dear Lord, we're looking for a pause and proper rewind button. But anyway, we hit the sector, we crunched the sector, we enriched the insector, and we brought everything down to the level 5 planet here. We've got rockets inbound, and we got a couple assassins coming our way, while ours spread out. So, dragging the interceptor, I'm not sure how viable that is these days. It's super circumstantial, I think, because I haven't seen the interceptor drag work effectively in probably a good 4 or 5 White Star matches. For those of you that don't know what that is typically if you run a ship through it, like this one here is moving through the sector, the interceptor is going to set its waypoint for wherever that battleship is going. So when I talk about interceptor drag, that's what I mean. And we didn't really drag it too well on this one, I think. But again, I don't think it's overly effective these days. So we're not going to focus anymore on this. Now I got to rewind it again. I'm going to run out of footage. Footage. Okay, so we've got the bulk of everything coming to level 5 here. A couple rockets inbound. And here is a perfect example of the interceptor drag. So this might have worked pretty well. I think we barrier to stop this, or just flat out kill it. And then myself and another level 4 battleship came down here to take care of, I guess, the Serb in the level 5. Again, the coordination out the gate by us wasn't overly awesome by any means. But you can see we've both the corporations came from the same area, which caused for a lot of conflict. Yes, so ultimately we did barrier here, and we double barriered. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why we double barriered. I think this, thinking back now, this may have had to do with this battleship right here. I think it might have had teleport. And actually, yes, it did. It teleports north. So that's the reason we buried on the planet. We're down here playing around, I guess. We sort of stacked up on the level 5, guarding it the most. So we get our relics loaded and we get the hell out of Dodge. There's the teleport I talked about. He takes care of that miner squishy, and then we get some support down in the south here, where they've already got a relic loaded. So focusing on this a bit, they had a whole bunch of miners ready to go for this level 10, and us being down here, I guess, deterred them a little bit. So looking at our assassins back here, our first assassin gets tied up. I believe he gets EMP'd here. We do have another assassin trying to sneak around its way back here, and the third assassin has used his barrier to sort of save our squishies. So we're going to go ahead and start escorting our relics out of here. This person's going to teleport onto our miner, take out our miner, but ultimately put a damper in our relics and our squishies. Down here, we are trying to stir up some havoc, but you're going to notice what happens next is a bit of a pain in the ass. Everyone's going back. I started to back up here, my miner, because this guy and this guy was on the loose. And here comes the real pain. Impulse right to the planet. Can't do anything about it. We lose a couple squishies here. And the person sitting on here, I don't know. I don't think they had any modules. So anyways, Assassin's gone to the left here. This is what I'm talking about right here. This, I want to show you guys. I thought this was a glitch until I really analyzed what was happening here. You're going to notice the flame on the back of this one is a lot bigger than the flame on the back of this one. Same with the one coming up the rear here. And this should only do 2,400 damage. A typical rocket that's a level 2 or 3 I think. But watch what happens right about here. Boom. Boom. Dead ship. What's happening, I think, if someone wants to confirm this, is that those are actually 2 rockets, if not more rockets, and you can't, because there's so much hull between the 2 rockets, they all don't get destroyed. And you'll notice there it takes out most of my shield, which I think in this stage was 10,000 HP. So insane rockets coordination. Going back, they are causing some havoc up here, although we have most of our relics on their way out the gate here before the 3-hour mark. I think we finally get some relics out the gate. And we're coming down just trying to take out this squishy that has a single relic. Ultimately, we probably should have focused a little more on this big horde of miners over here. But anyways, another assassin coming down. He's going to get tied up. Their defensive game was so on point. And we have a single battleship trying to deal with 2 people here. So what happened down here, we did get the jump on them. They buried us in place because we had another one coming in, but this thing's gonna die as soon as the EMP wears off and the barrier wears off. And yeah, it gets smoked. So still dealing with this by himself up here, and the assassin is frozen in place, and not much more to say about this right now. Okay, so there goes the transport. We got 2 guys moving in. They're going to take care of this one battleship here, fortunately enough. I'm sort of coming up. Now they're seeing me coming, so they're blocking here. They're seeing our assassin coming. They're blocking us here. And they still got a guy sitting in the middle to watch out for any incoming missiles. So right here is where they destiny. They take out a chunk of HP and shield and port over here. So I want to talk about what happens here real quick, because this was probably it was like midnight or 2 a.m. my time that I had landed at this waypoint, and one of these battleships decided to impulse at me and would have got me right out of the gate, but I just so happened to have woken up at that time and barriered just as this person impulsed, and we both popped a module, but I stopped his impulse and him getting the jump on me here while some support comes in. So we've got some more battleships coming in, and we have some more squishies coming back in to hopefully get some more relics off this planet. Anyhow, here comes the giant rocket again to basically take out our Batman here. Here it comes. Boom. Gone. Just like that. Absolutely insane. The coordination. Incoming rockets to our squishies. We've got another assassin back in the game here. Our assassin is tied up back here. The nice thing about the assassin back here is it is tying up 3 battleships. Now, unfortunately, he was back there alone. So, being that it tied up 3 battleships was good and all, but we didn't make full opportunity of this. Make full opportunity? So we've got another battleship loose in the back plane, trying to get some hydro going here on the level 5. So again, a lot of focus on the level 5. I missed a waypoint here. I shouldn't have taken this shot. Just sort of speeding through this. They were toast. There was too many battleships back there for that one person to deal with. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for them. Brought some more squishies in, hoping to get some relics. At this point, we were winning 3-0, 1 day, 19 hours left. Feeling pretty good about what was going on. But we weren't really paying attention, because when we look over here, there's a ton of relics on that planet. And our assassin almost did good by us, but talk about that in a minute. So they've got full control over the 10 right now in the south. We impulse in, and this is so flippin' close. We almost get that. Somebody had the timer set. Impulse didn't help. I'm not sure what more to say about this. They had a couple battleships at this point on our back end, really causing us some havoc. They really did a great job. Look, another assassin being stopped defensively. They killed him, man. And again with the rocket spam, killed our battleship with rockets. Right there. So just replaying this over again makes me so frustrated. Oh, the rockets, the rockets, the rockets, my lord. I don't even know what to say about the rockets, to be honest. Coming up with ways to counter those rockets is something that's been on discussion for a little bit now. But anyways, we get a couple more relics out of the gate. We get 4 more. We're tied at this point, but look at their stack. We knew at this point that we were done. Level 5 is empty with relics. We'd have to mine the heck out of something to get it to the 5-2 and put another dent in it. So ultimately there's our 8. And yeah, 16 hours to go. We've got a pest here that needs to be dealt with, and does get dealt with. Rockets, rockets, rockets. Nice little impulse by this person right here, Baliano. Takes out about 3 squishies and gets stopped at the gate, and the match is over. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is MyCorp's deployment. MyCorp's deployment was pretty coordinated, pretty on point. So bringing it in here. Oh, bad zoom, bad zoom, bad zoom. So you're going to notice the second they poured in, they got their bubbles popped. Shields already popped as soon as they poured in, and they all poured in pretty much the same time. And looks like they Genesis the gate, which is going to be stopped in the next patch. And they sent a single battleship up to deal with all these Serbs, which I thought was interesting, but it turns out really well for them. And this is their battery, 4 ships, artillery battery, 4 ships, all equipped with rockets. They Genesis the gate again, I believe. And their battleships focus here. And it looked like they were coordinated, set up, ready to go for this level 10. That's my opinion. Maybe that's not what they were doing. They fired off a couple rockets. Ultimately, I think they were just doing that for fun at that point. So this battleship just hops back after it aggroes everything. So I want to take a look at this pull for a second. Okay, well, it's not doing anything. So they're coming to the right here, which is going for the level 10. The Sentinel's engaged here. And EMP'd now. The hell? I was like, I don't remember that looking like that, but it looks like the time machine is all messed up. What the heck? I can't click on anything, really. What is going on here? Okay, well, my game just had some minor difficulties and I wasn't able to see what happened here. So, where was I? We've got a battleship moving in to take aggro of everything in this sector while taking that Sentinel out. And you're going to notice everything start to converge on this battleship. And then he initiates a teleport. So one thing to note here, you'll notice the aggro still stays on point, even though he's technically teleporting out of there. The aggro still comes to the battleship. And what they do here, which is also very interesting, is I believe there's an EMP that goes off here. No. Yeah. Jeez. So EMP missed the rocket. Everything's grouped in one. Can't fire at the rocket. Everything gets destroyed. What I found that interesting too. The Sentinel didn't, not the Sentinel, the Interceptor didn't blow up right away. But anyhow, that is by definition the coordination of this team, I gotta say. So anyways, moving over to the level 10 here, they're keeping their sectors, top sectors spread out in the event that there's some rockets coming their way, which ultimately, if you're using rockets as a point of attack, you're likely going to be paranoid that other people are as well. So this is the first time I've really seen these rockets coordinated as well as they are. But anyhow, again, coming out in a nice fanned motion here. You're going to notice the ships are protecting everything. I guess we kind of did the same thing. We weren't as spread out as we normally are, though. Anyways, see how the fan is here? You've got no gaps. Anything coming through, you had EMP on everything. I think they were also one of the corps that we faced that didn't have a sanctuary on a lot of ships. It was 3 mods for the most part, or 2 mods if you had a level 3 battleship. And they're protecting their holes. And then we have their assassins moving in. And the mining game is taking place far from the gate. So I talked about this when I was talking about our side. You typically want to leave this stuff for the end because this is easy money right here. Mining this later on in game for any quick relics. So they mine further away, closer to the 10. I'm not sure if they were thinking we weren't going to be bothered going that way. It would have been smarter for us to go across. Again, I don't have this stuff to reference as to why we didn't. But anyways, they come across thinking, I guess, going to the 10. But there is a lot of threat here. So I believe at this point they back up. So you're going to notice this is what I was talking about, no gaps. So our assassin gets demolished here. They got a couple of their assassins moving up and in, and they're going to try and load this relic. So at this point, too much threat. Going to back those miners up. Going to go back right to the gate and pump this stuff. I mean, why not? If you can hold 1200 hydro, why not just go right for the jugular? But anyways... still looking at their backfield here, so they are coordinating their rockets. And from what I can tell, I believe when you jump out and jump in, there is a 2-hour cooldown to jump out and jump in. But it's from the time that you jump in, I believe, the first time. So if you jump in and then you fire a rocket and you jump out, sorry, you jump in, wait 2 hours, fire a rocket, jump out, you can immediately jump back in, I believe. And then stack your rockets if you time your time machine correctly. But anyways, they've got a nice escort going on over here. We're going to focus back over here in a minute. And here's where the rockets really just take out this assassin. Not much they could do about it. They had to time that just like perfectly, right? But anyway... Up here, another assassin gets intercepted and EMP'd, while another character comes up and takes care of my assassin. Yeah. So at this point, 2 hours, 20 days, they're not sweating it. They don't have any relics, but we've got 3 in the hole, and they're gonna just work on some more hydro. I don't believe I saw any enrich, and they also did leave what they genesised, which is kind of weird. Maybe we'll see them pick that up later on in the match. So they go ahead and spread themselves out once again, guy in the center. And I'm going to assume one of these guys are going to come back to this level 5 planet. Gotta watch them gaps just in case. And coming down here to deal with this, there's the guy who destinied. He came back to pretty much his gate. We've seen that before. And here comes the rockets. They finally bring in a transport or 2, I believe, at this point. And yeah, they take care of this interceptor pretty well. This was one of the drags we did. And the miners are starting to GTFO since the interceptor's coming down. Look at this. This thing is almost full. 1200 hydro. That is absolutely crazy. Every time that we mine, we have like 300, 400. So another EMP goes off, but we are stealthed here, so I think that's why they EMP'd. So at this point, they're dumping the hydro off, getting ready for these transports that are coming in to pick up those relics relatively easily. They're still dealing with us, trying to get around them here, which doesn't seem to be too much of a hassle for them. This one's still trying to take out squishies over here. And at this point, this is when they've dropped off their hydro and they're just going to send their miners back to the gate. And I'm assuming they probably tag out for this rocket coordination, or they're going to tag out for miners to come in and pick up all the relics that they're dropping off. So dropping that off, there's 5 relics there. Yeah, so they deal with us, jump back to jump to the gate so you can jump out, refresh your modules, jump back in, you're good to go, you're like a brand new ship. Why not? These rockets were intended for this assassin that got away, that teleported north. Still dealing with my battleship, just trying to distract them, really doesn't help. They've got deltas to fill the gaps. And yeah, not much more to say about this at this point. Like these rockets, like this battleship just fired a rocket. Rockets everywhere. And boom, boom. Stealthing didn't help there. You'll notice that the assassin tried to stealth to avoid the rockets. Doesn't help splash damage. This rocket that we fired got through with minimal HP. That's not going to do anything. And yeah, there comes the another 2 relics for their side. Interesting. So I guess I made an error. I thought they were done with their miners, but it looks like they did crunch the gate there. They crunched the hydro that was around it that we talked about, and now they're moving that up. We've got some enrich. I missed the enrich. I do apologize. Didn't commentate on that. And basically all hands on deck to get rid of this guy here. I did fail to mention at this point, 1 day, 4 hours, they do take a battleship and a transport up to the level 10. Why not? There's 3 relics sitting up there, and you might as well take full advantage of it. So they take a battleship and a couple rockets to deal with that sir real quick. And then the transport just picks up 1 relic. It's because they ran out of time, not because we shot that rocket. And this was the final closing here. To basically just get out of dodge, get these relics to the gate. And yeah. Anyways, closing thoughts on this one. You can clearly see who is the more coordinated side of the map here. We certainly didn't create our perimeter very well. I believe we did a much better job in the last match we did. And we certainly didn't coordinate our plan of attack, I think, for what planet we were going for. That's great that we got relics out of the gate. I believe, like I said at the beginning, we talked about this last time, that we have a strong start game. We have a terrible end game. I wouldn't say terrible. We have a bad finishing game, and that's what we're working on as a corporation. The white start that's going on right now is going on much better for our end game. But anyways, perimeter, our mining game, what planet, coordination-wise, having a couple people not sort of there at the beginning of the match could be a little bit detrimental, not by a whole lot. And we definitely learned from this, especially with them goddamn rockets. Just watching this replay makes me frustrated. Our area's improvement in terms of critiquing MyCorp, in terms of things they could have done better. Honestly, the perimeter was on point, the mining was on point, the movements were on point. I mean, their goddamn rockets were on point. So I think we were just outclassed at this point. I really can't find a fault in their strategy. I honestly can't think of something that I would probably change about the way they played their game. You guys are probably the reason that the cooldowns happened to the rockets, but obviously you found a way around that. So anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for sticking around. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys find this a wee bit entertaining. Things that I could do differently, do more of, less of, like talking. I talk too much. Focusing on certain things a little more. Yeah, I really appreciate the feedback. My hat's off to MyCorp for giving us such a great match. I do apologize if I sound like I was talking bad about my corporation. I certainly don't intend to sound like that. I'm just trying to be realistic and learn from the events that happen. I still love them to death, and we're gonna do better next time. Come at us, bro. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Howdy doody everybody, my name is Rocky, and today I'm coming at you with my first ever White Star review. We just finished our 10th White Star, and I thought I haven't put out a Hades Star video in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and critique basically how this White Star went for us. Now, we did ultimately win, but I gotta say it was a fight to the end. Absolutely, I'm going to talk about that. But the